He's an island boy just trying to make it. It's Super Robot Punch. And today, we got mail. I've been on a real Adventure Island kick here lately. I've been playing Super Adventure Island on my Trimui Brick Hammer, which is a metal little handheld that plays all kinds of emulators for ROMs that I totally legally own. Anyhow, let's see what we got in this package. Okay, first up we got the little figure himself. This actually came with, I think, Adventure Island 2 in freaking forever ago in the late 80s, early 90s for the NES/Famicom. I think it's like a special edition deal that came with a little, like a pullback skateboard. Anyway, I got my hands on it because I've been on a kick of painting little old video game thingies. This may be blasphemous to some people who collect these little guys, but this homie has seen better days. I don't think he was painted very well to begin with when he initially came with the game. So we're gonna go on a little journey and paint this guy all up and make him look all tan. Very tan indeed. Let's get started. Alright, so here's my thought process. I want to sand down all the seam lines for everything that is fleshy and organic. I want to leave some of the seam lines for like the helmet and maybe little pieces of his little grass skirt. It's not really a hula skirt now, is it? Yeah, so I went through with a little nail file that actually came with a kit that my dad got me. Shout out to my pops. So yeah, we're gonna sand down all these seam lines. It's pretty easy given how small he is and how soft the material is. Not rocket science, just trying to make him look pretty. Knowing good and well, no one's gonna see the bottom of this guy. I can't help it. I'm trying to get him as smooth as humanly possible, just so the paint really sticks to him and I don't have any issues. Next step, we're gonna get him primed in solid black. I think paint sticks so much better to black. Here he is all primed up. I wish I was already done with him. I'm kidding. All right, let's get this thing started. What step are we on? Number 3, I think? 3? Yeah, sure. We'll call it 3. And that's to get some freaking paint on him. I'm using Deathclaw Brown and Tau Light Orange. So Deathclaw is going to be his base tan skin color. Again, Master Higgins, at least in promotional material and even in the game, he's Caucasian. He is white as the driven snow. Not for me. I'm from an island, if you guys don't already know. I'm Puerto Rican. And yeah, if you live on an island, it's going to be really hard for you to stay fair-skinned. My version of Master Higgins / Meijin Takahashi is going to be tan. So as we continue to paint this guy's flesh colored, I don't have his skateboard. The guy who I ordered it from did not have the skateboard. So he has these really funny looking little feet. He doesn't have toes. And he's got super thick cankles. Again, I don't think the figure was ever meant to be put under such scrutiny as what we're giving him today. But I'm gonna leave him as is without any kind of skateboard. I thought about getting a tech deck or something like that, or one of those little finger skateboards. We'll call it unfinished because, spoiler alert, I didn't find a skateboard between the starting of this project, receiving the package, and finishing the project. Well, getting to a point where I'm happy with it. I don't think anything's ever truly finished. Now, as we move over to his face, I want to pay really close attention to use thin layers to not wash out the little details of his cheeks, his mouth, his nose, and the little lines that they gave him for eyes. I really want to go in thin so that way the paint can coat that area there, but when I put a wash or a contrast paint over it, it doesn't wash it out, and I don't have to go in there and put a marker to it or put a really fine tipped brush to try and get that detail in there. I can just let the contrast paint do some other work for me. Moving on to the skirt. Okay, so we're using Warpstone Glow and Moot Green for this skirt. We're going in first with Warpstone. Just really trying to coat all that stuff. I tried to leave the grass skirt black on the bottom still, but it didn't make any sense because Warpstone is the base, Moot is the highlight. Later on in the video, I mix Moot with Corax White, or it might have been Pallid Witch Flesh. Regardless, to do the highlights on the actual grass skirt. I got the thumbs up from my 12-year-old, so I think I did a good job. And working in those highlights. Really happy with the way he turned out in terms of like the colors and stuff. As you'll see near the end, I did a little more to him. I based this one off of the MSX version, which was, for lack of a better term, a relatively simple sprite. Just pinkish tan for the flesh, white for the helmet, white for the knee pads, and then green for his grass skirt. It's not a loincloth. I don't want to keep calling it a skirt, but I don't have another word for it. Anyway, yeah, no, really happy with how he turned out so far. You know, it's crazy. I tried to customize action figures when I was a little boy, and it always ended up looking like absolute hammered ass. Now that I'm a big boy, a 34-year-old boy, I'm actually pretty pleased with how some of these customizations go. If you're not already aware, look at the channel. There's all kinds of other stuff, from He-Man to Muscle to Final Fantasy figures, all kinds of stuff. Lots of miniature work. Yeah, no, if I could just kind of toot my own horn, I think I've gotten pretty good. Alrighty, and here I'm taking some Nuln Oil, kind of working it into the recesses there of his skirt. Now, what you'll see me do is I'll go from putting a lot to a little to a lot to a little to a lot to a little, back and forth, back and forth. It's not for lack of understanding how to work with this Nuln Oil. It's more of being unhappy with what I ended up looking like at the end of it. I still wanted him to be very vibrant and green. And I think an issue that I ran into with the Nuln Oil is this figure was never meant to be painted like this. And I didn't go back through and cut deeper recesses into the actual figure. So trying to use washes and contrast paints and stuff like that, I have to be very intentional and very careful. Now, we're working with Pallid Witch Flesh. I was nervous because I worked on all this tan and all this green. The quickest way to mess it up is to use a stray brush stroke, and bam, next thing you know, I gotta work the freaking green all over again. Luckily, I hadn't worked on the highlights for the tan yet, so it wasn't too stressful. My big issue with the helmet was deciding what to do with it. Because again, in the game itself, the helmet is just white. And that's kind of boring, kind of lame. Not lame. Lame's the wrong term for it. It's not very dynamic. So I didn't record it because I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. I give him a racing stripe on his helmet at the end of it. I think it turned out perfectly, but hey, you guys can be the judge. Okay, I already worked on the knee pads. The knee pads are relatively easy. Again, it's a very low detail figure, so just getting the paint where I needed it to go. I think the paint's doing a lot of the work communicating what the design actually looks like. And I'm happy with the way it ended up looking. Now, he's got hair. It barely sticks out just from the back of his helmet, but he's also got eyebrows. Now I'm working shadows. I thought I was already working hair. Whoops, jumped the gun there. Anyway, so I'm working shadows around his little chin, his mouth, his eyes. Again, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, I really want those details to pop, but I couldn't just wash the figure completely in any of like the contrast paint. It just wasn't designed to hold paint like that. So I got overzealous, started putting this contrast paint all over, this freaking snakebite leather everywhere, because I'm like, hey, I want him to really be dynamic, and like I want the shadows to really just sink in and he looks three-dimensional. Hell no, it just ended up looking messy as can be. Now we're using Mornfang Brown to work on his hair. Luckily for me, his eyebrows are actually molded onto his face. So all I had to do was get a very fine brush, just get in there and just give him little brown eyebrows. I thought about going black. Again, if I refer to the original sprite, it looks black, but having the benefit of foresight, Master Higgins' hair is actually a really dark brown. So I kind of committed to that instead of sticking wholeheartedly and 100% to that original sprite sheet from the MSX. Just working that Mornfang brown in here. I thought about using the green stuff that I'm currently experimenting with on a few different projects to try and do hair. I don't trust my sculpting skills at this current juncture to do anything more than patch holes with it. Alrighty, so highlights. I considered just raw dogging just a straight Citadel paint of a much lighter tan. What I ended up doing was mixing the two I just showed on screen. I was yapping, so I missed it. But it's a much more subtle effect, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It doesn't look quite as cartoony as it would if I just went in there with just a whole different shade of colors. Really happy with the way the highlights turned out. I tried to be a little more conservative about it. I know if you've seen any of my other stuff, my highlight work is sometimes it's very subtle, other times it's very overstated and dramatic. I tried to keep it subtle for Master Higgins on this one. And like what I always say, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to me ramble about, frankly, a game series and a figure that is lost to time, I think, at this point, which is really sad. I grew up playing Adventure Island. I can't remember for the life of me whether it was one of my cousins or whether it was my best friend Zach who had it growing up. All I know is that I didn't have it. I had a Super Nintendo. That was my first console. I never had an NES until I got much older. But yeah, thank you for sticking around so far. Let's get him in the spray box and get him coated and do all the YouTube things. Thanks for watching again. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Remember, Master Higgins is just an island boy doing his best, riding skateboards that don't exist. Thanks for watching, guys. Super Robot Punch out.